What's the nearest thing you've got to a superpower? I have psoriasis, which means that in certain patches my skin cells produce at an accelerated rate. If I cut myself on one of those patches, my body heals around 8-10 times quicker than normal skill. All I need now is a freaky storm to turn it into a useful power. I can always inadvertently say exactly the wrong thing to make a room get uncomfortable and go silent. It's a gift and a curse. I always know the time within 15 minutes or so. I also always wake up 15 to 2 minutes before my alarm goes off, usually closer to 2, if I microwave something. Even for an odd amount of time, like say 3 minutes 36, I'll go to the other end of the house and come back just as it's beeping. So my superpower is a clock in my head. Yippee. I can find things that my family, friends and coworkers can't find, or straight up lost. I don't know why. It can be kind of eerie. I once found a C-clip the size of a dime that flung off my dad's mower in the grass. His lawn is about an acre big. I actually think my anxiety is a superpower. I spend my entire day thinking through all the worst possibilities. Then, when something bad happens, I'm almost always ready. In a crisis, I'm somehow the calmest and most prepared to handle it, even though on a daily basis I'm barely functional. I can reach the top shelf. The wife and kids can't. I can tell which of my family members' vehicles is pulling into our driveway by the sound of the tires on the gravel. I can Tetris level pack stuff, especially in a car, and power clean like a mofo. Update for clarification, by power clean I mean cleaning, not weightlifting. My wife has the ability to tell if a song is a Christian rock song within 1 second of listening to it. It amazes me. I can wiggle my ears separately. I can pick up an exact number of things about 70% of the time. Say I need 20 bolts or nuts. Dip into the tub and pull them out. Use them and have none left over. It's happened enough times that I've noticed it, but only really happens when I'm not thinking about it. I'd count it as a superpower. I'm quantity man, sometimes. If my tummy feels upset, I can use the loo on command. Nobody else I know can do this, and it relieves me of so much discomfort. Able to fall asleep anytime within minutes. I have the power to be asked by complete strangers, "Hey, do you play basketball?" I have the ability to make traffic move faster. All I have to do is get out of a lane and suddenly the lane I just left moves faster, while my new lane slows down. I can type 120-130-ish words per minute on a QWERTY keyboard. The ability to read any child's writing and understand what they were trying to say. Tested for kids 4-20. I'm not so good as to be able to understand doctors' handwriting though. I'm invisible to over 70% of automatic doors. I have had more episodes of deja vu than I'm comfortable with, like once a month sort of frequency, and I'm not even exaggerating. The amount of alcohol I can consume is phenomenal. Looking average, it makes blending into a crowd very easy. I'm surprisingly good at hiding in plain sight, whether it be avoiding my household, or avoiding detection while airsofting, or even sneaking on people. It's what I've been told I'm good at. I'm ambidextrous, but when I write with my left hand I write completely backwards, as in mirror writing. There's no thinking about it or trying, it's just totally natural. But my right hand, which I use normally, goes forward. Computers around me just start working properly. True story. My mom had an issue with her laptop acting up when opening the web browser. Even sent me screenshots. So I go to check it out. Lo and behold, it stopped happening. Long ago my brother had a phone and the phone speaker stopped working. I go to check it out, and the speaker started working as soon as I touched the phone. I can move my stomach muscles like they're sea-waves. I'm a repairman. I show up to a place where things are broken, and when I leave everything is fixed. It's like a miracle. Despite being nearsighted, I can spot the smallest of insects, wherever they may be. Even if my glasses don't cover my entire field of vision, I can still see them outside of the corrected field. It's like an insect sensing ability. Mosquitoes don't bite me. Wasps don't sting me. Pretty sure this qualifies me as the Antichrist. I've kept a tiny human personal eye for nearly a year with just my boobs. I can tell, while eating something, how bad I will have to crap, and how long I have before it hits. Perfect pitch: the ability to discern any note, key, or chord member just by hearing it. I have not been sick with so much as a cold since Easter of last year. The only issue with this is I'm increasingly paranoid that I will get sick at the worst possible moment. Sleep comfortably even on cold stone floor. I sometimes find my bed too hot in the summer, so I just go sleep on the floor. I made really decent grades in college without dedicating much time to studying. I never pulled an all-nighter. I never did one of those crazy sprawled out on a library table with a million pages of highlighted note steals that I saw a lot of people do. Never had any meltdowns or freakouts. I just took notes in class, utilized any study guides or practice exams the teachers provided, and occasionally made flashcards. I don't consider myself naturally smarter than most of my peers. I think I was just really good at taking tests and anticipating what I needed to prepare for. Finished college with a 3.8 GPA. I can make people's hands work again. Carrying twins in the womb who like to battle it out to see who can get the most space in my short torso. Yesterday we were able to get a nice 3D picture of my boy punching his sister in the rear for crowding his face. Hero, lunch destroyer, quirk, big on buffet. According to my Fitbit, I have walked over 10 kilometers every day in the last 3 years. My ability to bike 30 miles. If I've been somewhere once I can always remember how to get back there. I've been all over the US and parts of Canada and Mexico, also Japan, China, and the Philippines. It can be a decade or more since I've been there, and I can still find my way around with ease over large areas. It freaks my poor wife, or because I can get around better in places she grew up in than she can. I have no idea why I can do this. I thought everyone could until I was in my 20s. It's just a weird permanent thing that I don't even think about, but it does come in really handy. My boss says I'm a fantastic judge of character. I can sniff out which potential employees are going to be good ones and which ones aren't. Case in point, she had an interview for a cashier. She thought it went pretty well. Then she asked me what I thought. I said, well, she says she lives down the street, but she was 3 minutes late. She was wearing leggings and a t-shirt to her interview, which tells me she wouldn't take this seriously. Decided to try and hire her anyway. Her background check came back and she was deemed unhireable because of some stuff on it. She always asks my opinion now. Training. I'm really good at reading people's strengths and weaknesses and working with them to improve on their own terms. I get a lot of great feedback about, well, my feedback, and it makes me really happy to know I'm helping. An immunity to change blindness. It's more of a curse. Really, you try enjoying a movie when all you can think about is how his watch was on the left wrist in the previous shot, but now it's on his right. My power. Considering I've not said it yet, I always seem to pour the perfect amount of pasta. Yeah, I know. Pretty badass. I can remain silent for hours during the day, however requires the internet to trigger. My eyesight is much better than 20/20. When reading texts I can hear the person's voice in my head, even if they've never said it before. Zero allergies, pollen, dust, cats, bees, penicillin, peanut butter, etc. None of it bothers me at all. The ability to be tired at any moment. This includes 1 hour after I get up from a 3-hour nap. For some reason, when I'm watching something and I press pause, I always pause with the most awkward or hilarious faces. I'm really good at making cats like me. I can approach really skittish or antisocial cats and they'll generally be happy to have a snuggle. I think the trick is to respect their boundaries and make them feel in control. Or maybe they can smell the crazy cat lady gene in me. IDK. I have absurdly good reflexes when it comes to fixing my own clumsy frick-ups before it's actually a problem. I call it the tech support intimidation factor. My job is software support for a specific application, not general support, but my coworkers will ask me for help with Excel and internet stuff anyway. A coworker will have some computer problem and ask me to come look at it. As soon as I do, the problem goes away by itself. It's like the computer sees me coming and decides to cooperate instead of being caught misbehaving. I can make my fingertips stickier. It's super helpful for turning pages and opening plastic bags. But that's it. It's basically controlled perspiration on my fingertips. I thought everyone could do it until I was like 23. When I was opening a trash bag at work. It was slick. So I did my thing and said to a coworker, "Don't you hate it when you have to do that thing with your hands to open bags?" They stared at me like I was an abomination. I never understood why people licked their fingers to turn pages until that moment. I can cough and sneeze at the same time, and can do so frequently and intentionally. I make people feel relaxed and comfortable. In high school, this meant that a ton of casual acquaintances confessed their homosexuality to me. In my previous career, it meant I was assigned all of the craziest, angriest, most anxious or demanding clients. They're about to take their business elsewhere. I was the last chance. I haven't really taken advantage of this power. I'm very shy and need lots of me time to recover from social interactions. My experience is being the free therapist friend turned me off that as a job. I have sound/color synesthesia, so anytime I go to lay down a new song it's basically painting a picture with sound. Always thought that was pretty cool. I read super fast. As soon as my eyes focus on a word it's essentially absorbed. I read so well I can't watch comedies with subtitles on. Because I read the punchline before it happens. I think I'm just incredibly good at visual recognition. My brain processes images very quickly it seems. I'm usually the first off a sidewalk after the light changes as well. I can either predict green lights or make them turn green. I haven't figured out which one it is yet. When I pull up to a red light I'll start counting down from a random number. Could be 5, could be 38. Just whatever number feels right. When I finish the countdown I'll either point or blow toward the light, and it will instantly turn green. This happens with alarming frequency, like too often to be coincidence. I probably get it like 75-80% of the time. The power of getting out of accident injury free. It has happened a lot. I think me being partially spastic has something to do with it. I look and act normal, but as an infant I got encephalitis in the left frontal lobe which caused my left side to go limp. My mother trained me for hours daily in how to crawl and walk and play with sensory toys. About 12 years later doctors are telling me they are positively astounded, because they have never seen anyone under the same conditions physically recover. Now, it has been 15 years since doctors last told me I was fantastic, and I'm now, some would say, functioning adult. So there's that. I like writing MLA essays. I can stop involuntarily bodily functions for a period of time or altogether depending on the severity. This includes stopping hiccups, waiting patiently for the bathroom to puke, choosing to not be hungry anymore, and stopping cramps as soon as I realize they are happening. I imagine there is a way to keep testing the limits of his, but it's not worth the risk. I have an unfailing internal clock, which comes in very handy when playing my woodblock. If I say something with confidence to someone, the opposite will happen with 90% probability. However, if I try to game that, say the opposite on purpose, it's not working. I can make my work dirty before I reach my workplace on the first day. The little cartoon boxes that contain drugs/toothpaste/body creams, I always open on the side with the paper, never the cap. Unnecessary considering I don't want to join the army or hunt, but I'm an accurate shot. Time travel. Tools required: glass, bottle of whiskey, preferably bourbon. Last time I ran an experiment was last Friday night. I filled said glass with bourbon, imbibed, repeated. Next thing I know it's Saturday afternoon. There are side effects to this time travel though. Headache, angry wife and dodgy Amazon purchases. When I was a kid I had the ability to wake up whenever I wanted/needed to. Having a nightmare. Nope. Wake up. Fall asleep again. Have a dream. Having a really good dream and my body starts waking up. Nope. I'ma stay and see if there's an after credits scene. I was always consciously aware that I was asleep and dreaming, but I never knew that that was what lucid dreaming was, and so I never took advantage of that. It was exactly like watching a movie, where you're watching, but not altering anything. Now that I'm an adult, though, I don't hardly dream at all. Fall asleep, 3 seconds of black, and it's morning. However, when I do dream nowadays, I get massive headaches. So I've actually learned to hate dreaming in my adulthood. My photographic memory. School was easy. I could cheat by reading the book inside my head. At my warehouse job, not only do I remember exactly what's where on the shelves, but in my mind, I can see the expiration dates on the boxes, too. It's short term, and goes away in about a week, but it's impressive. Hyper-focusing, I think. I might have ads undiagnosed, but I really don't think so. I can usually predict the future, but not really intentionally. I'll just have a thought and sure enough it will happen within a couple minutes or the next day. For instance, like I'll be jamming out, and then my head will change songs and sure enough the next song that comes on will be what was in my head. I'll wish for something to go on sale, then book the next day it will be on sale. Random crap like that basically. I have an uncanny ability to predict things by talking about them. Examples from yesterday: if I get in this turning lane and it doesn't turn red, the route will be faster, but if I go straight and miss the green arrow, it'll be slower. I looked over at my girlfriend and said, watch at this. The arrow will turn yellow the second I decide to get in the turning lane. It did. As a woman was pulling up to a four-way with me, I told my girlfriend, this woman is gonna turn without a blinker, and nearly hit me. So I didn't go, and she turned directly in front of me with no blinker. We were sitting in the theater, watching trailers before Incredibles 2. I said, this theater is too packed for no one to be using their flashlight. Less than 10 seconds later a woman walked in waving her phone flashlight around like there wasn't 100 people sitting in the dark right in front of her. My girlfriend noticed this after I mentioned it and told me to talk about finding money. She needed a $20 for gas to get back home and didn't feel like draining her card. I jokingly said, boy, I sure hope we find some money in the parking lot. We found two $5 bills right in front of my car. Each of my eyes blink at slightly different speeds and it really weirded out teachers in school. Like 5 couples that I matchmaker made it to the altar. I can basically tell when two people like each other but aren't making moves, and I create opportunities for them to be alone together. I don't force anything in a busybody way, but I do guide people away from third wheeling and gently cackle to them that I have plans. Forgetting 90% of a movie/show after just watching it. Team management and organization. Like Awesome X from Frisky Dingo minus the hookers and gay stuff. I'm super intuitive and people always comment on how I weirdly always know how they feel or what's bothering them. Also I'm pretty weird and people naturally feel more comfortable around me because I don't judge them for being weird and they can easily show their true selves. I don't ever get mosquito bites. I was the envy of all the other kids at summer camp. Not sure why. Could be my blood type, A+, and hormones or something. My mom and one sister don't get bites. My dad and other sister get absolutely devoured. I have such reoccurring deja vu. It's been there my whole life. I'm convinced I just dream about the future and don't remember till it happens. As a kid, if I dreamt about a certain episode of a cartoon I'd see that same episode on TV within the next week. Animals love me, all, every time, and children too. It's like they know something no one else does. I have serious Google foo. I can always find exactly what I'm looking for on Google. When playing Cards Against Humanity, I can always pick out my brother's card from the bunch, even during times when I don't want to. That's why he always wins the games. Probably my telekinesis. I can clap with one hand, audibly, at a pretty good speed. Also, I can write decent PostgreSQL queries. I have a super sensitive nose, can pick out ingredients in a dish, sense in perfumes. Hell, I can identify my friends with my eyes closed because I smell their body wash. Not always a gift, but closest to a superpower that I have. Wait, I also do not get hangovers. I'm rather sturdy. I got hit by a bus, flew from my bike, and landed across the street, but had nothing. Fell from a tree which was higher than my 2-story house at the time and had nothing. Got in a crash on an ATV and hit the ground with 70 km/h and only bruised my entire chest. Still hurt like a bitch though. And these are just a few accidents. Fights are another thing. Had a guy who sucker punched me straight in the face. I had nothing besides a small sore spot. Had a guy who tried fighting me for fun after a night out, but he got really aggressive and just started repeatedly punching me in the face. I just stopped him. Had a slight bruise on my cheek. Got Spartan kicked in the chest. I staggered, he fractured his foot. I don't know why exactly, but according to my doctor I have an absurdly high bone density. Doesn't explain the not breaking skin. I think I'm just extremely lucky. Also, while these might sound extreme, this is like 6 events in 26 years. It's not like I test it. I can put a USB into a USB slot the correct way on the first try. I'm empathetic to a fault. I'm a grandmother, and my superpower is the ability to deploy a pillowy lap at a moment's notice to comfort and entertain a fussy child. I've averaged less than 5 hours of sleep per night for the last 19 years. A typical night is 3-4 hours. I've gone up to 5 days without any sleep at all. I always end up being attracted to the one girl in the room who isn't single. I can hear so much, even whispers while I'm bartending. It's a loud environment and I will hear something down the other end of the bar and people are just shocked I can hear them. The ability to ignore problems until they go away or become someone else's problem. My luck, it seems. For some reason I'm more lucky than all my friends combined. To give a perspective, I found a mirror of Kalandra with less than 2k hours in Path of Exile. I have incredible luck when it comes to rolling D&D character stats. It doesn't extend to the game itself, but I regularly roll 17s and 18s when it comes to building my characters. My dice, the DM's dice, on my own, in front of a group, doesn't matter. I've got the magic hands. Then I get into the game, and it slow rolls all the way, but still. I'm super talented at getting lost literally anywhere.